Hey guys, Disler Magic here, and apparently with Magic the Gathering, up is down, left is right. Everything's crazy, it's the Twilight Zone. I say this because in a former video that was pretty popular that covered just universally worldwide weirdness that you wouldn't expect in MTG, we discovered that the most polite players and proper plus pretty good at the game tend to be children, and the adults are the ones that act like immature, obnoxious, and terrible opponents. Apparently that's a nearly universal theme in Magic, is that if there's like some 13-year-old at your F&M, he's probably like the most polite, proper person. And if there's like a 22-year-old, he's probably a selfish jerk who rage quits and flips tables. Kind of the opposite of what you would expect, but there's another anomaly that I found in Magic. Now, if somebody wants to play Magic and they've never played it before, know almost nothing about the game, you kind of at some point have to warn them, hey, it can cost a bit of money. I mean, just think about it. One booster box is usually over $100. Buying what most people at the time incorrectly deem a top deck can cost, well over $100, and that's expensive. I mean, if you want to play a game of Monopoly against somebody, well, all it costs is the cost of the board game, which, I don't know, what, 30, 40 bucks, something like that, and then you're good forever. So compared to other games, even compared to most video games, it is more expensive potentially. Now you start looking at the cons block, I don't care what deck you built. If it was 2 or 3 color, your mana base costs a couple hundred. So if you're going to play Magic, you're going to need a little bit of budget. And my argument to this, because people love to complain about it, people hate spending money, obviously. My counter argument is, what does it cost to go fishing? You need a boat, you need a reel and bait and equipment and this and that and a permit, and what does it cost to, buy a bow and shoot some archery or guns, go to the gun range? I mean, paintball, laser tag, you name it. If it's a hobby, it costs money. If you want to go biking, I mean, just the cost of an okay mountain bike, geez. Luxury items, hobby stuff, anything entertainment related, it's going to cost a bit. So by that metric, yeah, it actually is pretty reasonable to play Magic. I did notice a pattern, though, at the, what is it now, 5 or 6 local gaming stores that I've been to in my life. There's always the super poor players. We're talking people who, paid with change to enter F&M. They're wearing the same thing you saw them with yesterday, which I still don't get how that equates to being poor. Take a shower and do some laundry. That's not expensive. Come on. I can't think of any more offensive poor people stereotypes, so just, the people that are always like, oh man, I wish I could afford this. Oh man, I don't have the money. Oh, new set's coming out. Might not be able to play. I don't have the money. Just people who, tell you they're poor. I know some of you clever little monkeys out there are like, wait a minute, you went to 5 different local gaming stores and saw a poor person at all of them. Yeah, it was you. They must have had a mirror. You're damn right, but I also saw other poor people other than myself. Well, some of them are the aforementioned 12 and 13-year-olds. Of course they don't have money. Where would they get money unless they got rich parents? Even teenagers, they're in school. You don't get paid to go to school in this country. Then there's just people who work really crappy jobs, or they, just got out of college and are working some kind of poor job or paying off a loan or, whatever. Well, then, of course, I know a couple people that are just absolutely horrific at managing money. So for whatever reason, the person is just perpetually broke as all hell. Why would these people even attempt to play Magic when Magic is seen as, pretty expensive to get into? It's a bit of a barrier and it's a bit of an ongoing expense. It really seems to contradict logic, and yet I see it everywhere. There's a ton of super poor people playing Magic. Now, I think one reason for this anomaly is that even when I started to play Magic, my friend was like, here, have an entire deck plus a set of sleeves. It's just some stuff he had left over. Or he got me an intro pack, which is, super cheap, or some kind of weird starter deck or whatever the products were back then. Or he said, here, have, 1,000 of my commons that I just opened and have, 500 uncommons and you build something. So most people get into Magic basically for free because somebody will just borrow them a deck or give them a deck, plus supplies, plus, dice, whatever. I mean, my friend was like, here, have a spin down, have this, have that. I'm going to teach you how to play. You can keep the deck. So it looks free and cheap because people freely give away cards. People give away commons and uncommons all the time from, just leftover from draft or just, they have enough to build every deck ever, so they just give them away. But then they get into it and they're like, oh, I really want this card. This would be a perfect fit for my deck. Oh, crap, that card's $15. And, oh, instead of dirt cheap mono, I want to run dual color. Oh, crap, all the good dual color lands are rares and they're all worth $10. Oops. So it can start to get more expensive, but I've seen these people work around it. They either are motivated because now they have something to save money for and to spend money on, that they go do things, mow lawns, babysit, whatever, to make money to spend on Magic, and, nothing wrong with that. That's cool. Or they just skate by with dirt cheap decks. And obviously on my channel, I support those people. Come on, that's like what I do. I got some serious reports of my $11.91 Gravity Bomb deck just sweeping game days, sweeping FNMs. I came in first twice with it. That deck is insane. Oh, by the way, my latest deck, Green Superheroes, I won one game at all of FNM with it. I did terrible with it. Sometimes I build fun decks, sometimes I build competitive decks, and I hope I mentioned in that video it's not a terribly competitive deck, it's just fun. But Gravity Bomb, oh my god. And so some of these people, they're real intelligent, they're really into like problem solving and puzzles and logic and all that, so they'll build like an out of left field weird deck for like, peanuts, and bring that to FNM and do really, really well with it. I've also seen another class of person where they just kind of put something together that's kind of fun, just like some energy deck or some vehicle deck, avoid all the big heavy cards, but make an okay deck, and they don't care if they go like 0-5 with it, it's just they're there to play and have fun and mess around and laugh and make jokes about the cards, and they don't care about their performance. It's just something fun to do. Now, those people are awesome. I totally respect those people. I'm not one of those people like others I know where they go around just calling them, noobs and they don't know what they're doing and they're so stupid and they should buy a nat deck and they should take the game seriously and, oh, I got matched up against him, easy win, all that offensive stuff. And at my old local gaming store, boy, did the arrogant jerk players drive away the new players that just didn't care about performance. Non-stop, they would just say, your deck is trash. Oh, that's awful. No, you'll never win with that. Oh, you got to improve that. You have to, like literally, quote, have to add this card to your deck, or otherwise, why even show up? Apparently, those Neanderthals couldn't get it through their thick skulls that some people play just for fun. So, either case, either they're slipping through with some really, really creative stuff, or they're just playing for fun and who cares. If you think about it, for that classification of person, whether they're rich or poor, what would be the actual monetary cost? Well, I mean, my Friday Night Magic entry fee everywhere I've ever gone was $5. That's pretty much the standard. If it's not, your local gaming store apparently isn't doing well, or they're doing really well because they're ripping you off. Wizards does not mandate a price, though, so, whatever, they can do what they want. If they made the prizes twice as good as my local gaming store, though, just keep that in mind if you're paying $10. But let's just say it's $5 because that's what it is. Most local gaming stores that I've been to also have one free pack, bare minimum mandatory for everybody, either right when you sign up or at the end. So right there you could pull a $10, $15 card, and well, this time around $200 card, and you could trade that for some cards you need and keep playing the game. A lot of stores, frown on this, but you could take a $15 Mythic and just straight up sell it for $10 cash to somebody. I know a lot of them don't like cash transactions there, but whatever, do it at school, do it in the parking lot. There you go, 2 more FNM entries just from one pack. Now, the bare minimum is like show up with a deck of cards that you literally got for free, got the lands for free, got the commons for free, pay just the $5, play for free, bum a 20-sided die off someone or use a piece of paper and pencil, don't even have a trade binder, and have no cards. Okay, so you're literally playing for $5. That's doable. But a more realistic thing I would say is a $25 deck, maybe $10 in sleeves, $5 entry fee times however many weeks you want to go. So we're at 40 week 1. So $40, I mean, who can't come up with $40 if they really, really needed to? And you could play, you could win with that. I mean, you could do pretty well. You could win prizes. You could get the promos. You could get the random giveaways, which is another reason they should probably improve them a little bit. So I think that type of player and that type of pattern of spending and whatever, because now you can use the deck for bare minimum 3 to 6 months. That is the reason that MTG hasn't gotten the reputation of being like, golf or polo or I don't know, what do rich people do? I don't frickin' know. Fox hunting. Now, I'm just naming British crap right now. If British people on the whole had money, their teeth wouldn't look like that. Let me just throw that out there. So whatever the hell rich people do, I don't know, hunt poor people for sport with shotguns on Caribbean islands, that's seen as like a rich person thing, a rich person activity. You've got to be rich to play golf. You've got to be rich to go horse riding or whatever. I would say that overall, Magic the Gathering doesn't really have that like elitist rich person, hobby type of air to it, because you can get away with about $40. You gotta buy sleeves. It would be nice if you had a deck box, whatever. But I think the main cause of people being able to skate through for dirt cheap compared to what other people play, it's just because of the print volumes. That's what it is at the end of the day. I mean, it's hit or miss. Maybe 10% of the cards are worth $5 and up, and the rest are virtually worthless. I mean, the term 50-cent rare has been thrown around a bit because it describes usually 75% of the rares or more in a set. That's what most of them crash down to eventually, and, commons and uncommons, come on. I mean, there's that one uncommon worth like $3 right now. All the rest across the board are like 25 to 50 cents. There might be a couple dollar ones, but, I mean, come on. I'd give them away for free. I don't sit there and pull them out and put them in my trade binder. So if you just unimprove your deck so it's 10 to 20% less than if you had really good rares, it's still a good solid deck. The mechanics still work. I mean, otherwise, if it was a complete malfunctioning pile of crap, pre-release wouldn't even be a thing. So you can make stuff that works. I mean, there are commons that run energy. There are uncommons that run energy. You don't just need the rare and mythic energy cards. If you run without Aetherworks, Marvel, and Dynavolt, you'll probably still have a really good deck. I actually have a deck list that doesn't use Pommeler at all or any of the expensive cards. It's just green energy. And yeah, it would benefit a lot from Panharmonicon. Okay, I'll give it that. But otherwise, it's really, really, really good. The deck costs right around, I think, $9. So the fact that commons and uncommons on the whole are worthless and the vast majority of rares are worthless means you can pick them up as singles, trade for them, whatever you need to do, get them off your friends for free, and just play Magic with them. Just think how awful the game would be if every single rare was $5 and up, just across the board. You just couldn't even play the game unless you had a $100 to $200 deck. That would suck. I mean, that would definitely give it the whole air of being like an elitist rich person game. The fact that it doesn't have that reputation, at least, in the circles that I've talked about it and online and, just generally what I've heard, I think that's great because it's welcoming to everybody. I mean, you got somebody who works some god-awful, minimum wage job, has, no money. They just want to go somewhere on Friday or whatever and have fun and have it not cost much. There you go. Magic. They can hang out with geeky people that are kind of like them and similar interests, and doesn't cost them, as much as running out to the bar even would. Then you've got the shockingly and unusually mature little kids that come to F&M and hang out with, 20-year-olds and get along with them, which is just still strange to me. And it doesn't cost, we'll just say their parents, very much money. It's just $5 entry fee. Ta-da. God, you can't even go bowling for that kind of money. I think, little kids like to get out of the house and do something structured and, meet new people and that kind of stuff, because they're probably sick of seeing the same old obnoxious people at their school. I know when I was in middle and high school, I pretty much hated all my peers and I preferred to hang out with adults. But even worse is somebody who, had plenty of money, everything was going great, and then, something bad happened. They had a huge medical expense, they got divorced, they lost their job, whatever, now they're broke as hell. They could just pump the brakes on the net decking and build whatever they want, keep it cheap, and keep playing Magic. That is awesome, and it's one of the best features of the game. So when I tell people, hey, one of the best things about Magic is that you can play it for dirt cheap, they think I'm crazy, and then they tell me I'm wrong. Well, every week I watch people do it, they do well, and they have fun. Oh, and then as another example, me. So next time somebody says, hey, I would play Magic, but it's way too expensive, just tell them they've been talking to the wrong people. It is doable, it is fun, and they should at least give it a shot. And please, do not go up to the poor people at your local gaming store and be a complete dick to them. If you see somebody doing that, definitely call them out on it. Oh, and don't forget to donate your spare cards to the poor. This has been a PSA from Desolator Magic. I'll see you guys next video.